Hey, we're two chubby sisters, and welcome back to our channel.
It's been a couple weeks we haven't posted, but we're back.
We're back, yay!
So, I don't know if any of you celebrated it because they made a movie marathon or whatever, but this past Friday was Friday the 13th.
Yes, it was.
And that's kind of what we're diving into today, is about Friday the 13th. It's kind of a continuation of our previous video of superstitions. We talked a little bit about it in there, but this one's totally just about Friday the 13th.
Yep. And the first part of that, we're going to talk about the number 13 and Friday and how those are kind of both considered unlucky separately. But there's been a lot of things with the number 13. Like if you watched our previous video, they talked about we talked about how there was Jesus and 11 of the disciples were at dinner, and Judas, and y'all know what Judas did. He was the 13th person at dinner, so there's a number unlucky 13. And then the Norse gods were dining in Valhalla, and Loki was a 13th guest to think. So it's kind of, 13's always been kind of an unlucky number. You never have a 13.
Yeah. And then the day Friday is kind of known as
for some reason they have always thought that Friday was
a bad
day.
But I think it stems from like it was Execution Day.
It was Execution Day, and then in Norse mythology there was, if you guys have heard of Frigga, she was Thor's mother and stuff like that. Friday was named for Frigga. And when, the Norse and Germanic tribes converted to Christianity, they thought she was a witch. They pegged her as this horrible, evil woman, and so she was banished, and then Friday has been considered a bad day kind of since then.
So kind of a combination of two bad omens or bad juju date things, 13 and Fridays, combined together makes it really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So Friday the 13th has a lot of different origins of like where they thought it came. I mean, there's some that can be traced way back, some that say that didn't really come until later. But one of the ones is obviously in the Christianity. According to biblical traditions, 13 guests attended to the Last Supper, held on Monday, Thursday. The next day was the Good Friday, which was the day that Jesus was crucified. And so Friday the 13th, Jesus was crucified. And obviously they consider, because then like we just said, Judas was was part of that, and he betrayed.
He was the 13th guest at the Last Supper,
and he betrayed Jesus. So obviously the number 13th, and then Jesus was crucified on the 13th. There's also, I guess, a lot of skating superstitions with the number 13 in Christianity, and what was it? It's a bad luck thing to have 13 guests at a dinner table, or like at a table. Like they consider it bad, and I think that probably sends back to the Last Supper.
Yeah.
And they considered specifically that it was courting death if you have 13 guests. Someone was going to die that was at the dinner. So with a lot of it, they also said that Eve apparently gave Adam the fateful apple from the tree of knowledge on Friday the 13th, and Cain apparently killed his brother Abel on Friday the 13th. So obviously Friday the 13th has got the bad things that happen in Christianity has all been on Friday the 13th. And then what most people think where Friday the 13th being a bad thing originated from was the Knights Templar. They were religious crusaders in the 12th century. On Friday the 13th, let's see, I gotta check my notes. We always have our notes.
October 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France he decided that they were religious. They were not actually religious, that they were bad, and that they all needed, so he had them all arrested. There was hundreds of, maybe even thousands of them. He had them all arrested and tortured and killed, and it's considered one of the bloodiest days in world's history. And it was Friday the 13th, and that's kind of where most people think that Friday the 13th being bad and unlucky came from.
So those were the two main way back origins, was the Knights Templar, and then obviously the Last Supper, and then from then on, and Friday the 13th became synonymous for being a bad day. Actually in 2010, CNBC reported that the Stress Management Center for Phobia Institute estimated between $700 to $800 million were lost every Friday the 13th because people are too afraid to shop, to travel, to conduct any business on Friday the 13th.
That's crazy.
So it's kind of like trickled down to that. But why too it becomes so synonymous with being bad luck? A lot of like bad things in history have happened on Friday the 13th. In September of 1940 is when the German bombing of Buckingham Palace took place. It's Friday the 13th of September 1940. September 13th of March of 1964, Kitty Genovese was murdered in Queens. It's a famous
in New York.
In New York, it's a famous murder. November 1907, a cyclone that killed more than 300,000 people in Bangladesh.
1970.
In 1970, on Friday the 13th. On Friday the 13th in October of 1972, a Chilean Air Force plane disappeared in the Andes. Just completely disappeared.
I don't know if they've ever found it.
I don't know if they ever did or if they would. Yeah. More of a closer to now, what most people have heard about. Friday the 13th of September 1996, famous rapper Tupac Shakur was murdered. And then Friday the 13th, January 2012, Costa Concordia cruise ship crashed in the coast of Italy, killing 30 people. And the most recent, and the one that's been plaguing us for 2 years or more, on Friday the 13th, March 13th, 2020, was when we were officially declared a pandemic.
For COVID.
Have it started on Friday the 13th.
Yep.
So, like, these are all, like, huge...
Kind of sends chills down your spine, doesn't it?
So it kind of thinks. But, obviously, when you ask people about Friday the 13th, the most common now is the pop culture of it. And that's probably most famous because of the movies. Obviously, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, the horror movies that everyone, when they think about Friday the 13th, oh, Jason, and everything like that.
Well, at least our generation.
Yeah, our generation, and probably the generations after us too, because it's kind of come synonymous with. There's actually 12 now Friday the 13th movies too, and also it was at
I think they might be planning another one too.
There might be. Obviously, some big name actors like Kevin Bacon,
Johnny Depp.
No, Johnny Depp was Nightmare.
That was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Jared Padalecki, most people know,
was in a remake
of Friday the 13th. So a lot of times now on Friday the 13th, people don't go out, or I mean they do, but like it's kind of now become tradition. You stay home, just do Friday the 13th marathon. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a novel from 1907 called Friday the 13th by Thomas William Lawson. It's about a New York
stockbroker.
Yeah. And that novel's become famous and synonymous with Friday the 13th.
It's about him causing chaos in the stock market, about like scaring people into either buying or selling, or you have to do this because it's unlucky, and Friday the 13th.
I don't know. Some people we're not really going to go into the lucky side, because there's some people say that there is some lucky sides of Friday the 13th, but obviously, now people related to the bad luck and the bad things that always happen on Friday the 13th.
If you want to go back to just the number 13, there was a man in the late 19th century, a New Yorker named Captain William Fowler. Mm-hmm. He kind of wanted to remove the stigma around the number 13 and Friday the 13th, and so he created the 13 Club. And he owned a place called, the Knickerbocker Cottage. Every month on the 13th day, him and 12 of his friends or club members dined in the 13th room of the Knickerbocker Cottage, and he just kind of wanted to remove,
he didn't like superstitions. He wanted to remove the stigma around superstitions.
And when they said when you would go into where you were going to dine at, you had to pass under a ladder. Which, if you watch our other superstition video, we talk about you don't go under. It's bad luck to go under ladders. And you had to go under a banner that said "Morituri te salutamus." My Latin is not good, so I'm just gonna.
Yes.
And it translates to, "Those of us who are about to die salute you."
So yeah.
And there were 4 former presidents were actually members of the 13 Club.
Former U.S. presidents.
Yep. Chester A. Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, and Theodore Roosevelt.
We're all part of this 13 Club.
And then, I know I'm jumping all over the place. Sorry, guys. Another thing about Friday being bad, because that was Execution Day back 200 years ago, whatever, or they called it Hangman's Day. They also say don't travel or start new projects on Fridays because it'll end badly.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be a bad day for releasing new, like, products commercially.
Which is kind of funny because movies always come out on Fridays.
Yeah.
So you would
But
think
they
that would
call
be-
it Black Friday, and now Black Friday is the biggest commercial day of the year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
I mean, there was actually quite a lot more like of things that actually happened on. Like you can look it up, go online to say bad events that happened on Friday the 13th. There's like tons, and
So maybe it really is an
maybe
unlucky-
it is an unlucky thing. I mean, is it coincidence? Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, it depends
Probably,
on
but-
how superstitious you are. It probably has a big effect on whether you believe it or not. But it is kind of funny because we always like, you know.
We celebrate it kind of like a holiday.
They said too that there's going to be at least one every year, so you were guaranteed to have a Friday the 13th at least once every year. This year we only did have one,
Yeah.
and we just had it in this
They
past
said
Friday.
that most years have 2.
Yeah, sometimes you get 3,
But
not
most
very
years
often
it's 2. Last year we only had 1, which is funny because last year it was in August, which is my birth month. And then this year it's in May, which is her birth month. And they were the only ones for the whole year.
in the
both
last 2 years. So,
it's a little crazy.
but well,
Coincidence?
maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this isn't gonna be. We're actually not doing a long video this time. I'm sorry. No, our past videos are being kind of dragged out. But so I thought hope you guys kind of found this interesting. It's a little thing on Friday the 13th.
Just some little tidbits.
Yeah, we like the superstition stuff. It's interesting, and some of it, yeah, I am superstitious, but
And I feel like they're about Friday the 13th, but I feel like there's more superstitions about Fridays by itself and then the number 13
yeah, they
by
said
itself.
there's not like. It's just I think people put them together because there's so many of them separately. So when you have them both on the same time, it's kind of like, is this, you know?
Well, and having the bloodiest day in known history
To be on a Friday the 13th. And obviously most recently, like I said, the pandemic was officially full force. We were put in a state of emergency and in the US and officially on Friday the 13th. So, remember, if you like this video, hit that like button.
Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you know when we post. See you
See you
guys later.
later. Bye.
Bye.